Chicago came out pretty good. Again, it was one of those non-60-minute performance by Flames. Awesome third period as per usual. What I liked was seeing Chicago work hard for it, but Flames' skill just overtaking them.
And I guess that's a similar theme to the Philly game too.
Yeah.
Where Calgary can actually, they're at a point where they can play worse than the other teams and still win. And I know NHL and minor hockey are not the same thing, but drawing from our experience as minor hockey week champions, when you're on a good team, you kind of have that confidence, like
swagger.
Yeah, like you're not trying, but the first period you play, second period you play, and you know if you turn it up, 4 out of 5 times you're gonna win in the third.
If they're giving you some heat, you push back harder, and since you're more skilled, you'll succeed.
And it kind of feels like the Flames have that confidence now too, that they can sort of just keep pace with the other team and then turn it up in the third period and pull it out.
And the face of this confidence goes to Goudreau and Riddick at the same time.
Yeah, I think it was Philly where Big Save Dave, he really got himself in the position to be the GOAT. It was, I think it was 2-2, 1-1 at the time.
Yeah,
and he had that giveaway.
Bad one.
Yeah, and
he tried to Mike Smith it, and then only Mike Smith can Mike Smith.
What do you think about that? Should Riddick keep trying to play the puck and improve, or should he say, "I'm not a Mike Smith," and kind of just leave it behind the net?
I don't know. I don't know too much about goalie. I would say let him decide. Ask him, how do you feel about this? Because now he's been exposed to what happens if he fucks up, and it's probably pretty painful. But he was bailed out by Matthew Tkachuk.
Is it Tkachuk or Tkachuk?
Or what?
Tkachuk.
Tkachuk. Chick clutch.
Oh, he's clutching the...
That was clutch.
Yeah. It was, he did get bailed out because Tkachuk scores, ties it up, Brody gets the overtime winner, and you don't even remember the play. If they lose 2-1...
Tkachuk passed it, Brody.
Yeah. That's why he's clutch. Yeah. But you don't even remember Riddick's play because of that. And if the Flames had lost 2-1, then it'd definitely be on your mind.
He was bailed out, and he got that peace of mind, which is good. You want your goaltender to be in a good peace of mind. And there's really no reason why he shouldn't be. He's playing some really solid goaltending.
Yeah. Is it safe to say now that he's the number one?
Yeah, and this was never spoken. It feels like this is just something that evolved with perfect sense.
Yeah, merit-based.
Yeah. Credit to Peters for it's not like he came out and said, okay, Rick is now our number one guy, and from this day on, this is how it's going to be. No, we just saw more of Riddick, less of Smith. People liked it. Flames won.
Yeah, if you keep winning, then... Yeah, maybe it's just a win you're in thing, and Riddick hasn't lost.
Yeah.
So, we talk about hockey all the time, and I mention often my dad, he sends me text messages with his opinions about the games. And, I would say he is pretty opinionated. Some of them are more out there than others.
Some hot takes.
Yeah, some hot takes. And so I asked him, can I read some of these on our podcast? And he said, yes, if you call the segment Sports Genius. And I said, maybe, or we could call it, yelling from the porch.
Old man yells at clouds.
Yeah, exactly. Or smart or old fart.
Nice.
But let's read a couple, and then I'll just get your reaction on some of these. The first one, he wrote to me, I think this was after the Chicago game. It's in reference to our power play unit, number 2. What a laugh. Power play unit Neil Bennett Backlund. And they expect to score. Then they change it up with Ryan, another blank shooter.
It's pretty hating on the seconds.
Yeah, not a lot of respect for the depth. So what's your reaction to that?
Yeah, that's a good knee-jerk reaction to a second-line power play.
So you would put it more in the genius side if you were forced to pick.
Well, it's not too genius to notice that their second line hasn't been scoring, but
okay. But it's reality based. It's somewhat
a reality
thoughtful.
based observation of a poor performance. Flames power play is not anything outstanding as it stands now. Maybe about halfway in the league.
Yeah, the first unit's pretty effective. But, and typically the first unit does take about a minute and a half of the 2 minutes. So it's not like the second unit's getting a great opportunity. But yeah, calling it as it is, blank shooters. Hitting
on a second liner for a power play, if a second line of a power play does good, they become the first line. That's usually how it works, isn't it?
So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. No, but there was one year, I can't remember what team it was, but it was in the playoffs, where the first unit was all the stars, and the second unit kept scoring, but they didn't switch it up.
They didn't switch?
No, they did give the second unit more time, so it's like a minute, but when all your stars are on one, it's still the first.
Yeah, and it's all who starts that, because when you start, you basically stay on until you get tired and change. But the second they're faced, they can all go out when that first line gets off.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the true number one.
Okay, let's go to a second comment. This is in regards to Mike Smith. Right after Smith was injured, my dad wrote, Peters was told that Smith wasn't right, quotation marks. I've always suspected that Smith is high on something sometimes, the way he can play so incredibly bad.
Smith on drugs?
Yeah, this is relating. He has a common theme, Smith on drugs, so this goes right in that genre.
Yeah, right in that conspiracy.
Yeah. So what do you think? What is this leaning more to genius or to old man yelling at clouds?
Somewhere in the middle, but it's funny. It's kind of far out there, but at the same time, I mean, what's up with Smith? Hey, you're out of confidence. That sucks. Why is that? Why is he playing so bad? There's no answer to it, so why not throw out there? He's on drugs.
Yeah, and definitely some of his play and the flopping makes you think that, but I'm going to say it's more old man yelling at clouds, just because Smith is a family man. Yeah. I don't think he's out back the Saddle Dome smoking a joint before the game, but I can see where it comes from, but I'll lean that way a bit more. Should we go to the final comment?
Let's do it.
So this is after last game he wrote this, so very current one.
Most recent?
Most recent, yeah. He wrote, the sports farts are all writing how awesome the Flames are. They're not awesome. They're hanging on by a string. Goudreau, Line, and Rittich are saving them.
Yeah. That's good. I like it. That is going completely against what the mainstream media is telling us or shoveling into our faces.
Yeah, the common theme now on hockey shows is raw Flames.
Yeah, and this is like, hey, we just talked about they're not putting the 60 minutes. They're hanging on by that thread.
And there are some underlining numbers that could be concerning. I have one example here. The Flames are 13-4-4 at home. So on face value, that looks pretty good.
Yeah,
much better than last year.
13 wins, 4 losses at home.
Yeah, 13 wins, 4 losses, and 4 overtime
losses.
But the save percentage for Smith at home is .870, which is not a big surprise. Smith doesn't have a great save percentage, but Rittich is only .883 at home. So he also has a very poor save percentage at home. Yet the Flames have such a good record, meaning they've outscored problems.
Yeah.
So that would be kind of, the level of concern isn't super high, but it is something to be a little concerned about if they can't score the way they have in the first half.
Yeah. Or if the goalie goes cold.
Yeah.
If it goes cold. I'd be more worried about them. Okay, that leads to the next thoughts is what do you think would happen first? Riddick going cold or Flames not scoring? Top line not getting that puck in?
I think it's easier for one player to get on a cold streak than multiple players. So just based on math, I would go Riddick. But there is, despite how great the Flames have played, there is some concern, like, will maybe all the players hit a cold streak at the same time?
Maybe I'm sounding like I'm just riding this wave of enthusiasm, but this year does feel quite a bit different from many years. But I say these past 6 years have not been kind to the Flames.
No, that's true. Should we check the standings quickly? Because the Flames are first in the Pacific.
And have been for a week, 2 weeks now?
Yeah, it's been at least 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But San Jose just 1 point back, and the Golden Knights are only 2 points back. So it's, despite how good we played, it's tightening up there.
If you keep looking down the list in the Pacific, what do you see after that?
I see something that makes me very happy.
Anaheim on a 9 game losing streak.
And right behind them in points is the Oilers. and the gap between the third place in our division, who is Vegas, they have 58 points. Anaheim's in fourth place, they have 46. So we're looking at a 12-point gap. So just based on that, I think the Flames, they're in a similar situation as the Maple Leafs and the Bruins and the Lightning were last year. You know you're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's where do you seed?
Yeah. And we hear the conversations all going to talking about Flames and playoffs in the same conversation. And this year I feel like, yeah, great. I'm jumping in on it too. I see the Flames making these playoffs.
Yeah. It's pretty
fighting
much
for home ice advantage.
Exactly. Fighting for home ice. That's where we're at for the second half.
And that feels fucking great. We haven't been able to think like this for so long.
And speaking of fighting with teams, one of the teams they're fighting with is Vegas. And I think it's a perfect time for us to meet a mascot.
Hello.
Hello, and welcome to Meet a Mascot. Today we travel to Las Vegas. Chance is an anthropomorphic Gila monster and mascot for the Vegas Golden Knights.
It's a new one, 1 year old.
Yeah, and another anthropomorphic one.
Yeah, anthropomorphic.
That's right. He was unveiled on October 13th, 2017. Chance was not well received, with one reporter saying, quote, "It is like they all sat in a room and said, we are not leaving until we come up with the most ridiculous mascot we can think of."
Yeah, they did that. Thought of him, designed him, and colored him. All ridiculous.
Yeah. And it's weird because Vegas, they really put on a good product. But I don't know, have you seen pictures of Chance?
Yeah, I'm looking at him right now, and it is ugly. Their mascots are basically those guys that wail on the drums and wear those cool lighted sunglasses that Jeremy Roenick infiltrated last in the playoffs.
Yeah, another quote about Chance was, quote, "This is the stupidest idea anyone has ever had for a mascot, ever, in the history of everything, even collegiate sports."
To me, maybe not so much the idea is stupid, but their design, the look of his face. No, but yeah, it's a stupid idea.
They're the Golden Knights. They could have a knight, they could have a dragon, and instead they have a Gila monster?
Yeah, I don't quite get it.
But there is a bright spot in Vegas. The Vegas minor league hockey team, the Wranglers, have a mascot named the Duke. He is a 7'3" green bull. The Duke has attended 3 ECHL All-Star games as the league's favorite mascot. Now, I Googled the Duke. Man, that guy looks awesome.
I'm looking at him now, too. And he looks kind of like that green guy from The Simpsons that Homer was dressed up as once.
I don't know.
Oh, no, sorry, it was Dancing Homer for that giant fuzzball. Fuck.
This is in The Simpsons.
It was in The Simpsons. Anyways, he looks funny.
He looks